before we talk about weapons and class loadouts, let me just say this is all about how I play again. If you talk to other people, they're going to have different opinions on these guns. This is just how I feel about them. So the best advice would be for you to experiment with them and see which fits your level of play and how you feel comfortable playing the game. Alright, let's get into talking about the miniguns first. Obviously, the most important thing to a heavy is his primary weapon, the minigun. Now there's 4 actual choices. I know there's 5 guns listed, but one of them is just the skin as the stock minigun. But there should be really only 3. There's absolutely no point to using Natasha in the modern game with all the new weapons that have come out since. I mean, yeah, if you hit someone, it slows them down, but as you can see in the notes, it gets reduced by range. So if you're trying to hit someone even across the bridge in 2 Fort in that gap, it's really not going to have much of an effect. And if you're hitting someone in your base, you could just use the stock minigun and do 25% more damage, and you're probably going to kill them faster than you would with the Natasha. The only thing I can think that's good about the Natasha is if you're just trying to assist another heavy with who has a stock, or you're just trying to get the assists and help them out. Brass Beast, again, it's really not good for my playstyle because if you look at my videos, most of the time I'm carrying I'm spinning the barrel most of the time. Yeah, it does 20% more, but I mean, look at the notes. 50% slower spin up time, and you're pretty much immobilized. I mean, minus 60% on move speed, and the heavy really goes slow to begin with when you're spinning the barrel. So when you need to sort of jump around corners quickly like I do, it's not a good choice. I've heard the Tomislav come up a lot for my style of play, which is more of a stealthy thing, but honestly, if you don't know, it's because the Tomislav doesn't have a spin-up sound. It's silent. Honestly, though, I almost never get caught sneaking. Most of the time when you hear a minigun spin, even in my case, I hear this a lot, I don't think, alright, it's right behind this wall, because most maps are 2 floors or even more than that, and even then you really can't tell unless you're wearing proper headphones, which I don't wear anymore. You're not really going to tell where it's coming from. And again, with the Tomislav, yeah, it spins up faster, but it does it shoots 20% slower. And again, I just don't, in my opinion, I just don't see the point of using that over the stock minigun, which will kill them faster. Yeah, I guess very rarely you might get a stealth jump on them if you're playing Arena, but I don't play Arena, so really no point in it for me. Let's go and talk about secondaries. Alright, we're talking about secondaries, and this one's going to be pretty short, obviously because I use nothing but the sandwich. I really don't see any point of using the shotguns or the Buffalo Steak, because if you use the Buffalo Steak, you only have melee, Dolichos, or the fish cake. I think I said Dolichos right, I don't know. It's pretty much a smaller version of the sandwich. And seeing that you can throw the sandwich, instant 150 health, you don't need to eat it, it just makes sense to use it, in my opinion. And if you have more than 150 health and you throw it and pick it up, get back up to 300, instead of waiting to refill to get another one like the Girardi, if there's any health pack around, even a 25, and you pick that up with full health, you'll instantly charge that bar. And since the way I play, I really don't like medics on me. It's pretty much a necessity. If I tried to play without the sandwich, all my videos would be like 5 kill streak. Because if you watch the longer kill streaks, every time you see me go behind a corner, throw a quick sandwich, pick it up, and start firing again. So I can't even really comment on shotguns just because I never use them. I guess if I had to pick, I'd probably pick the Family Business just because you get the 2 extra shots. Yeah, it does 15 less damage, but you get the 2 extra shots, and that really does make a difference. At least it does when I'm playing Engineer. So, but let's move on to Melee. And moving on to Melee, this is again really just a story of 2 items out of all of these. But let me just say off the bat, the Eviction Notice has probably the best sounding hit sound of anything in TF2. It sounds amazing. It's just too bad it's really useless. All it does is hit faster. But the 2 ones that really matter the most are the running gloves and the killing gloves. And it depends on how you're going to play, really. On a map like recently I've been playing a lot of 2 Fort, and the way I play 2 Fort is if an enemy takes the intel, I can be waiting at one of the exits to the intel room in a matter of seconds, so I really don't need the gloves. And although my last video I was by their spawn, the majority of games I sit in my base. I like to play defense. So the running gloves really have no point other than if I'm playing payload and I want to sneak, they are good because they give you 30% health, and it's only 6 damage per second, and when you're heavy you got 300. And most of the time you can get a medic to heal you to the, 450? So then you get another boost like that. And then if you do fall, you got your sandwich, hopefully, which gives you the 150 right back, or 300 if you want to taunt eat it. And now that the soldier has, I forget the name of the item, isn't it disciplinary? I can never say it. The whip. Right? This is embarrassing. You know, the whip that makes you faster. I don't know. I think it must be more than 30%. The running gloves are slowly becoming almost unneeded. But it is very fun to have the whip nail you in your back, and then also have your running gloves, because it makes you a scout for a short period of time. It really does. But for my money, the killing gloves are better, just because you get the 5 seconds of crit. And really, most of the time, you're going to have your minigun out as the heavy. So I rarely get kills with my boxing gloves to begin with. And if you're curious, here are the item sets. The only one that does anything is the hibernating bear, but if you look at what they are and see the effect if you use them, it's really completely useless, much like most weapons for the heavy, to be honest. But yeah, and then down below, that's the loadouts that I always use, or 99% of the time I use. I should probably put the gloves in there, the running gloves, but whatever. So that wraps it up for the first tutorial, I guess. Yeah, I know it's rough, like I said, but well, when we get to video, at least I'll be able to look at something and talk about it, not just come up with stuff.